Hey everybody, welcome to News by Muse. We are back for another interview for Bite Size Halloween, and we got the director Luka Wilson, and she also wrote the short as well, Disposal, which you can see now on Hulu. Luka, where did the thought process come in for this short film?
It started off really simple. I just gave myself a challenge of creating tension around an everyday kind of fear. And I know every time I hit the switch for the garbage disposal, my body tenses up a little bit. So I wanted to play with that and start layering in some fun, narrative storytelling on top of that. And yeah, that's how it started.
And it's a great, interesting dynamic on how you play with the story, and having it be a boyfriend who's not sure of his relationship, and that's what leads to the whole garbage disposal story. But what was it about bringing that type of dynamic in? Because it really is something that really the audience won't figure that out, I think, right off the bat.
Yeah, what I liked about that, and I guess that what I like about horror, the genre in general, is that it can really be used to leverage metaphors that explore, you know, social dynamics and different themes in a big way. So it gives you a little like something to chew on. So I knew that it wasn't just about simply creating fear around the disposal, but how can that be used as a metaphor to explore bigger things? And that's when I started getting into the relationship dynamics between Chris and Stacy.
Awesome. So, well, how long? What was the process like? How long did it take for you from beginning to end to make this short film?
I wrote the script, the first version of the script I wrote a while back, like over a year ago. And I've done many iterations since then. So I guess, yeah, it's been a bit over a year.
No, awesome. And your actors, you got some great actors in here that really sell the part for you. Dion Costello, you got Annie Pisapia, Dakota Hill, and
Mhm.
Morgan Saylor. How did we able to get these actors together? Because they really do well in this short.
Yeah, so I always kind of had Morgan in mind as Stacy. Morgan is such a force, and I really wanted like a strong feminine force. And she's also able to express vulnerability like so quickly. Like her face is just so expressive, and she's incredibly talented. So I kind of always had her in mind. And then for Dion, for Chris, I was just doing a ton of research. Honestly, I had a very specific idea in mind for this character because it is this like East Coast Italian family, and I didn't want that to turn into a caricature or some kind of like Sopranos riff. I wanted it to feel like very authentic, and I met Dion through a producer friend of mine, and we got coffee, and I was like, this is the person.
Awesome. And that's the one thing that I love about Bite Size Halloween on Hulu is the fact that there's so many. It's not your traditional horror genres, and there are a bunch of different aspects into the horror genre. When you got asked to be a part of this, what was that feeling like for you to be able to do a short film onto this project?
I was super excited about it. Yeah, I've been a fan of the programming, and yeah, when we got the green light, we were just really excited.
Awesome. And that's the one thing, like, I can never say enough about this series. It's gotten better each and every year, and the dynamic is they would keep constantly raise the bar. When you were filming this, what kind of changes, what kind of nuances did you really want to show on screen that that when you had your cinematographers working on it, from color aspects to the feel, because it does feel like a family type of horror.
Yeah, I wanted to pull and play with all the levers, at your disposal as a at your disposal as a filmmaker. So, because this isn't a there are aspects of like it is a bit of a thriller, right? Like a thriller horror. I knew that I really wanted to go crazy with the score and make it feel really horrific and start like playing with that and having it be really present
Mm.
in the sound design throughout. So that was like really important to me. And we actually started, my composer, Michael Whittle, super talented, he started playing with the score before we even started shooting. So it was fun because we were already kind of playing with the mood and the tone of the score. And then going into like planning the shots with my cinematographer and pulling imagery and references for that, it was really helpful to already kind of have that vibe going on. And when it came to cinematography, I wanted to play with the realness and sometimes, you know, the most horrific things are the most real. So
Mhm.
I wanted it to feel very rooted in realness and very raw, but still have an atmospheric quality to it that gives you almost like, you know, there's shots that feel like kind of a 90s horror, you know, like early 2000s, late 90s horror vibes, which I was all about and wanted to play with that a little bit as well.
Yeah, and you definitely pick that up right off the bat, especially when it comes to using different materials as clues within the story
Mhm.
to make the person who's watching it think what and try and figure out for himself what is going on. And I like that those little subtle clues that you see, and you tie it all up at the end, which is just kind of like that nice payoff for the audience. Uh, for We do have a lot of students who usually watch Muse TV from all the different colleges because we have a bunch of interns who come in from the colleges in Southern California. What
Mhm.
advice would you give to these students in order to who are looking and interested in making their own short films and be able to get their product out there?
Watch a ton of movies. Like watch so many movies and I think get really clear on the kind of stories that you want to tell and that turn you on and inspire you. Read a lot of scripts and just go make things. I think like directing, you know, the learning curve on that is difficult, right? Because it takes a lot to bring people together and to get the boat rowing in the same direction. So I think whenever you can practice, you should, and don't be a perfectionist about it. Share your work, put it out there, and just keep repeating that process. I think
Yeah.
it's really important.
And I agree with you, especially in this day and age where you have so many tools to be able to to start learning how to make your own short film from your cell phone to
Yeah,
things that are out there now that technology has allowed you to be able to at least have something to start with, which is great.
totally, and exploring different roles, right? Like I studied acting. I was a theater kid. But there's so many wonderful directors that start out as editors. Like I think when you can have different perspectives, bringing that into your directing only makes you a stronger director. So I feel like take on any of those or all of those roles at some point, I think is also really important and awesome.
Yeah. And one final question before we end this. What do you have next? What's next for Luca after Bite Size Halloween?
Sure. Yeah. So I've been developing a feature version of my first narrative short, Sealed with a Kiss, and which is a very more of like a character study, really. And so coming up with different circumstances to put that character in different worlds has been really fun, and that's been my focus now. Now that the disposal's out into the world, I've been able to shift my focus a little bit and work on the feature version of that.
Awesome. And it's great to see all these, for many, they're unknown filmmakers to the mass audiences, and you're really getting an opportunity to show what you could do. And for many who have already seen your Bite Size Halloween, I'm sure they're going to look forward to what you have next and what you're going to be coming up with in the near future. So, Luca, thank you so much for stopping with us on News by Muse.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was so great meeting you.
Oh, nice to meet you as well. And the disposal's out now on Hulu on Bite Size Halloween, which you could catch at your convenience. But catch it now before Halloween, so after you have something to look forward to it by the end of the month. And thank you so much, and we'll see you next time here on Muse by Muse.